right, this is recording 806. The name of my podcast is Listen Next 806. Oh, sorry. I just decoded more and I'm like, I'm going to put this up tomorrow after work. And then I'm like, no, let me get it up now. So you can find me at Christina Station 918 and speaking to the CIA.com. This is going to be, every recording I know is highly upsetting. This is one that's going to be highly upsetting. So, okay. So, all right. I wanted to, this is already in my podcast. I've already turned Jean in for it. There's so much decode that I've done surrounding her world dominion plot and her trafficking and her terrorism. And okay, so I just want to remind everybody about EST, established, such as like when a town is established. Okay, so, or a country. Okay, so I wanted to remind you again that, remember, in Steve, and the name is Steve, is EST, established. And I've decoded that several times. Okay, someone also pointed out Eastern Time Zone. Then, besides going back further, besides going back further to Genesis and Paul, because the world dominion plot goes all the way back to Genesis. So, the EST goes to the world dominion part of the phase from the founding of America. Okay. And then, but if you want to go back further, it goes back to Genesis. Okay. So again, remember, Eve comes from Genesis and Steve comes from the book of Paul. Okay. So, and then also a reminder, Les Paul, Lespaul, is a guitar. So Jean did that too. And then you obviously know Paul McCartney. And then again, you obviously also know Paul McCartney and his band Wings. Okay, so in here are some letters. If you combine Les Paul with Lake Powell, remember, she used the flight path of Lake Powell, okay, of northern Arizona, in the way the planes flew and crashed into the World Trade Center. Okay, and I decoded all of that out. I decoded a whole bunch of stuff, but that was part of it. So she used Lake Powell in her theming. Okay, so, and then you're going to see all my decode. I did this on paper. See, I'll decode around LP. It took me it was like 2 full pages just on the initials LP, decoding out everything she did with that. It was insane. So all kinds of terrorism, all kinds of stuff. So anyway, so also note the LP. So anyway, if you do a cross reduce between Lake Powell and Les Paul, because those cross reduce, you get, I'm going to give you the letters AK, well, you'd actually take out the K too. AKOWEL, and then SAU. There's a lot in this that you're gonna want to decode. And you could probably already see in it. Such as, she makes me feel like this is so ridiculous. Like, I don't feel this way, but she puts, remember I told you she injects her own self into my brain? Like, she puts her presence in my brain and she commands herself how she wants to ordain me to be. So she's not making me feel anything. She's icing me. So she's giving me the impression right now that I'm not allowed to say the Native American tribe Lakota, because she's probably been bothering the Lakota because of everything I've decoded for the Lakota. So anyway, so all that tells me is that she's definitely messing with them in several different ways. So anyway, but you can definitely see Lakota in here, and Lakota is very important. CLD code around Lakota. So, and I've been blessed to hear from them more than a couple of times. So there is the people that I talk to are Wise, Eugene, Jernigan, Robertson, or Manson Occult. But I mean, I don't know everybody everywhere, but I would assume they're really wise to her at this point. So anyway, also I want to point out the Les Paul guitar makes a Gibson SG guitar. Okay, so the SG, so there you have the SEG again. Okay, so you have like a Gibson Siege guitar. So you see how pre-planned this is? All right, so then, so you're going to want to study Gibson guitars. And then also in that is B Siege. And then also in that is Bee Gees. Okay. And then also in that is Let It Be. And then also in that is Beetlejuice. And this made me go, oh my God, Beetlejuice. Jonestown. That is in this. So also something else I want to point out that she did. Okay, so a long time ago, I was really blessed to go on a trip to New York, and it was in the year 2000. And you've got all my previous podcasts on all of that because my whole trip is very important. And I was able to do a lot of decode and figure out all kinds of things, such as she was the one who wrecked Bob Dylan's motorcycle, such as knowing she was pre-planning to do the World Trade Center attack. There's all kinds of, I went to Woods. I told you I went through and decoded it all and told you all about it. Okay. So anyway, on my way there, I was with a former boss of mine who I love dearly. And we stopped at a couple places, and one of the places that we stopped at was I think we stopped at sorry, she blinks my brain. We stopped at the Vanderbilt mansion. I think it was the Vanderbilt's mansion that we stopped at. We stopped at the Vanderbilt mansion. So you know, see all code. And then we stopped at a cemetery. Okay. The cemetery was, I remember Roosevelt's. And then I don't know if it was in the same cemetery or if we stopped at another cemetery. But the other cemetery that we stopped at, I saw Sojourner Truth's tombstone. I saw where she was buried, and I was just like, I thought it was amazing. Anyway, so then fast forward in time, and this is all like meant to be because she's like not my boss, Jean Roberts. She's like pre-planning my life. She's stalking me my whole life and controlling everything about my life. So then I look back in time and I'm like, you're going to jail. And then she stops me from telling on her, and she thinks she gets away with stealing my identity and everything else. Okay, so it's all just fun to her. Okay, so she's like got it all in the bag, and she'll just get away with all of it. So anyway, so when I'm in Slidell, I'm like decoding, and this is like nearly 10 years ago. I'm decoding, and then I'm frantic and upset and freaked out, and then I moved to Dallas, and anyway, then I moved to Oklahoma City. Okay, so when I was in Oklahoma City, I was communicating mental telepathy. I was decoding, and I was communicating in mental telepathy, and everybody was talking about Sojourner Truth, right? So I was like talking about me seeing her tombstone. And so I was like, I literally asked because I know that my bloodline is related to Eve. Because Jean stalks me based on my bloodline. She's obsessed with my bloodline and my parents' bloodlines, which is my bloodline. Obviously, I'm sorry, trying to control my speech, but my spouse's bloodline. She's obsessed with all of them. Okay, so I'm trying to find out what is the obsession. So anyway, I find out a lot about my family history. I know anyway because my dad keeps close track of my family history, but I know a lot more beyond than what my dad has shared with me, or maybe that my dad didn't even know. Like I figured all this out, and then by decoding, and then people would come on and confirm for me. They would confirm to me who I'm related to and how this fits in here with these crimes she committed. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, so I said, because I was told that I'm related to, that my family is from, we started out from East Africa, and that we are related to the Yoruba, which I'm like, oh my God, I was freaking out. I was so, it still is like, it makes me go ding 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 ding, like makes my heartbeat just like, it makes me crazy. Like I'm so like, oh my God. So anyway, and they're like, and this is why she's stalking you. And then so it's not everything that you decoded. It is everything that you decoded. Her threatening to kill you by routing your parents to live on Easton Cottonwood, but there's a lot more to it than that. It's because your family starts at East Africa, and then you travel, your family over time travels across different parts of the world, and then you make your way into the United States, both from the south and from the north. So anyway, so I'm in these conversations and I'm talking, and then so we're talking about Sojourner Truth, and I'm like reveling, like I wish I could have known her, I wish I would have studied her, I wish I could, like I'm like spent all this time decoding, and there's just so much to go through and so much to decode, and I've got to get Jean turned in, and I've got to figure out a way to stop her, and like I wish I could just sit down and just study like everyone and everything and know everything, and so we're talking, and so then I said, am I related to Sojourner Truth? And then Jean Roberts came on in my brain. She was spying in, and she thinks this is totally funny, like she's spying in the background. And she goes, you are related to Sojourner Truth. And I was like, I am. And I didn't know it was her. And I was like, I am. She goes, yes, you're related to Sojourner Truth. So I'm like, so anyway, I write this down in my decode books, right? So this is so adorable. What happens next? So I'm like, I'm writing this down based on her telling me this, but I'm like, I don't know if this is correct. So anyway, I write this down in my decode books, and I even write in my decode books. I don't know if I'm related to her or not, but this is what I'm told. If this helps with anything, like this is what I'm told. And so then later on, I got to talk to African Americans, Black folk, Nation is Black people I love and trust. And they were like talking about the Sojourner Truth page where I wrote that down, and they're like, we're gonna break your heart. They were so, oh my gosh, I love them. They're like, we're gonna break your heart. And I'm like, why? And they're like, you're not related to Sojourner Truth. And I'm like, I'm not. And they're like, no, you're not. And I'm like, I wasn't heartbroken because I didn't really believe it in the first place. I feel like somebody was trying to pull one over on me. So anyway, I'm like, what do I do? Because this is all evidence of Jean Roberts stalking me. I've got all these decoded ciphers. I've got all this in here. And then I wrote this in here, and then they're like, just go where you wrote that in your books, and then cross it out and say, I am not related to Sojourner Truth. I was told incorrectly. So, or whatever they have me say. So that's what I did. So I crossed it out. So anyway, so later on, okay, I realize, and I've kept it to myself, and I try not to have it in my frontal lobe because I don't want like Jean running around, but she's already been running around. I mean, she tries to pretend like she's me. She's committed so much travesty against people, and she's like wants to have her cake and eat it too, and she wants to pretend to be me. And she's just like everybody, she says that everybody's just okay with her just doing with what she wants, do whatever she wants, and just let her be me. And they even told me, Gene Roberts people came on screaming at me a couple weeks ago, and they're like, you're supposed to be dead by now. You're supposed to be dead. Like, they were throwing a fit, like they were mad at me. Like, Gene Roberts planned to sacrifice me before I was born, and by God, she's just going to get her freaking way. No, you're getting turned in, Gene Roberts. So, anyway, so on my website, Christina Station 918, CHRISTNASTHIA 918.com. I'm trying to say it a different way so you guys get my website, but because I think she's censoring what I'm saying right now. But anyway, it's not hard to find me. I'm on the internet. My name, Christina Stacia. So I can't help it if she censors my podcast. You guys have my real podcast. So I'm like trying to say so she can't like pick out the enunciations in my words if she's trying to censor as I talk. Anyway, so because she's hell-bent, she really wants to get away with this. So anyway, on my website, ChristinaStation918.com, I'm explaining to you that Jean Jernigan Roberts' name, and I've decoded this, and I've turned her in for it. I told you she's a fraud. She committed stolen valor. Jean Jernigan Roberts, that's the name she goes by. That's how everybody knows her. But it's a fraud name. It's a fake name. Okay? It's all completely fake. Every bit of it. Okay? So, anyway, Jernigan already pisses me off. Everybody's decoded the heck out of her name. Jernigan pisses me off because she's saying journey again. Okay? Which is a twofold thing for her. She's saying some other really vulgar stuff in here too. Ugh. But anyway, so journey again. So it's twofold. Okay. One is she wants to go visit her baseball Ponzi that she ran and executed and lied about and profited from and made tons of money from, and wants to use that as her excuse to getting away with doing the World Trade Center attack and continue to make more money and do this whole psycho LSD effect and all this dumbass shit con she's running. I'm sorry, she's controlling my speech. It's probably because they're getting pissed because you're busting their ass. So anyway, and they're like, anyway, you guys know Jean Jernigan Roberts is of Milton, Florida. She's my dad's ex-girlfriend. So anyway, so the other part of it, journey again, makes my stomach turn because she's talking about the future. She's talking about her global dominion plot, and she's talking about mass execution. She's talking about global extinction, and she's talking about how she's going to wander the earth again in her new future self is what she's talking about. Okay? It's like, what is the word for it? Urethral, or what? You know what I mean? She's a freaking hippie. But anyway, this is what her and her occult plans for. And I've decoded all of it, and I've turned her in for it. You know, the numbers, like I've decoded the hell out of her Dominion plot. So anyway, so in that, so she's got Journey, and then she's got Steve Perry. And then somebody was trying to focus on Steve Perry's last name and comparing it to Tyler Perry. And it was funny because somebody came on and they're like looking through my eyes at Gene Jernigan, Robert's name, Jernigan, and they're like talking like they were Steve Perry, and they were looking at Gene Jernigan, Robert's name, and they're like, you better watch yourself. So she used, let me tell you what else she's done beyond this, okay? She used Sigourney Weaver, Alien, okay? And I told you all the states I live in spell out alien, and then it spells out even more than that. Okay, so she used Sigourney Weaver. She probably used Led Zeppelin and Dreamweaver. I bet you she used that too. And then Sigourney Weaver goes to Gurnee, Illinois. And then Gur, and then knee. Okay, so you see all code knee. So Gurnee, Illinois is where Great America is. And Great America is an amusement park. It's a Six Flags amusement park. And when I lived in North Chicago when I was a kid, I went there a couple of times with my best friend. It was like the spot to go to. Anyway, it's all Warner Brothers based. And so when you went, you would get a second day Tweety Pass. I called it a Tweety Bird Pass or a Tweety Pass. So you got a 2-for-1 deal. So your second day was free. So I don't know what it's like now, but that's what it was like when I was in high school. So she's using, and you have to see all code around Gurnee, Illinois. So she's making references to Sigourney Weaver, Alien, Great America, Gurnee, Illinois. And she's trying to make it look like, is what she's doing. She's trying to make it look like it's my friends in Chicago. Or she's trying to make it look like it's Nation of Islamist Ministers Farrakhan. Or she's probably pretending to be me. And see all decode around Great America before, where I decoded all that really, really old ciphers of her stalking Trump and even planning Trump's campaign, Make America Great Again, like way back in the 80s, and I decoded the heck out of it, and it literally comes from Great America, Six Flags. Even though, look, Six Flags, and then the SF safe, and then also San Francisco, she did that too. You know how she robbed the cartel. So, and then also 1986, Geraldo and all of that. So, Seal Code, and then Geraldo, and then Al Capone's vault. So, it's all like, she's pre-planned all of this, okay? So, anyway, so the 2-for-1 deal, Tweety Day. So, she is, that's probably why she shot at Donald Trump again. But she's pretending to not be the one doing it, but it's very clear that Gene Roberts is the one who did it. Okay? So, I know she also used another old favorite song of mine too. But I turned it around on her. But you guys probably already know it because everybody gets a kick out of it. And it's by Vanity 6, When a Girl Answers. Okay, so this has made me very angry for a long time, and I don't know who she was talking to, made me angry for a long time, since I was in Dallas, since I was in Oklahoma City. I know that she took Prince's life. See all code around Prince, see all decode around Prince, okay? You know how upset I am about that. Okay, you know how much Prince loved Vanity 6 and Apollonia. They're the same group. Okay. You know how much he loved Morris Day. You know how much he loved Sheila E. I got to meet Sheila E. She's amazing in my brain and mental telepathy. Anyway, so what was I gonna say? So I can't remember what her name is. Now her name is blanking my brain. I would just always think Apollonia or Vanity 6. She became a Christian singer. And she died a month after Prince. And it made me, when this happened, I was sad. I was super, super, super sad. Like, I was like, oh my God. And so, I mean, just right after that, she passed away. And then I'm like, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know she took her life. And then somebody told me in my brain that she's still alive and that she's being held hostage in this hostage racket, which has had me freaking freaked out. So I haven't been able to like say anything or do anything because I was hoping to get in front of the government and give a whole list of every celebrity I know that she's holding hostage and their physical condition, what the condition is they're all in. And what do I know about every person? But she's stopping me from doing that. Every day she commits more terrorism, she kills more people, she runs her dumbass racket with her dumbass, don't even get me started on people up her butt running their dumbass con, and every day lives are taken by her committing terrorism and then by people she's holding hostage because God knows what condition they're in now, because I only know the condition they were in when I found out they were being held hostage and I could see them in my brain. So if they're not rescued, that means they're in a lot worse position today than they were, which was really bad positions 4 or 5 years ago, or like I started finding about her holding people hostage when I was in Slidell, Dallas, and Oklahoma City. So but basically 10 years have passed over the course of the past 10 years. So anyway, I'm like, so she comes on and people are talking and she comes on and somebody goes to her, they go, Vanity 6 or Apollonia, the girl from Vanity 6 or Apollonia is being held hostage. And she gets like a wicked like smile on her face. And see, right now she's presenting herself to me right now. She's flushing my face. And right now she's presenting to me that it's not her, that it's someone else. BS. Because whose butt do you want to kiss the most? She's trying to deny that it's her, of course. It's everything, everybody else. Jean didn't do anything. She's in the hood. So anyway, she comes on. She's like all freaking excited and everything. So she thinks she is going to go and racket somebody or pull somebody's leg is what she's getting ready to go do. She's getting ready to like go scam someone. Now, let me see about Jean leads conversations. I call it playing croquet. I used to make fun of her in my brain because she plays like this is all based on Alice in Wonderland, and she would be the Queen of Hearts. And I always make fun of her, and I always go, does anybody want to play croquet? Sounding like the Queen of Hearts. But anyway, what she does is like the little croquet things. If that's your brain, and you get the little mallet, and then you hit the ball, and then it goes under those little things. That's like shoving thought or messing with your body systems and just forcing it into your brain. So what she does is she forces conversation or forces topic and tries to control it because she wants the output to come out of my brain, because she wants to pretend to be me, or she wants to pretend that she's some speaker of me, or whatever, all the different cons she's got going on that has to do with me. So everything has to port through my brain, so she shoves stuff into my brain. So she's basically forcing the conversation into my brain, and then she goes to run the racket. She goes on the receiving end. Okay, it's all shoved through Christina's brain. Now let me go off and and off she went. And I'm like, oh my God. You're talking about someone who could give anything less. She just wants to be famous. She doesn't know or care or love these. She's a terrorist. Jean Jernigan Roberts is a terrorist and all she cares about is lying, making money, and committing terrorism. She does not care. That's people talking to me through my voice is telling me they're telling me I'm dealing with a psychopath, sociopath, stalker, terrorist. So anyway, but this recording reaches people who love and care for all of these people, everyone, and between, it's just imagine how Sigourney Weaver feels. She just screws with people's lives. And she's doing this all based on her little fake name she created for herself, Jean Jernigan Roberts. She's Jean the Third. So anyway, I'm not going to rant anymore, but I just wanted to let you know that she did that. So that's the end of this recording.